Obviously, calculating compound interest year by year, how many different SI equals PRT calculations did we do on the previous board? 3. What if I was doing it for 3 years and it was compounding monthly? So how many months in a year? 12 times by 336. You do not have time to do that 36 times. Okay? So instead of doing it per period, that's taking too long, you're going to use a formula. This formula looks quite crazy right now. It's only crazy until you start practicing how to use it. So what is the formula? FV equals PV, and then you times all in the brackets 1. It's always 1. 1 plus I divided by K, and then whatever's in the brackets is raised to this power, which is K times by N. What does FV stand for? FV is the final or the total value of the investment. That's what it grows up to. It's not the interest. SI is equal to PRT. Tells you how much the little bit on top is. That's not what this tells you. This tells you what it grows up to, and you need to work out what the little bit on top is after. I'll show you how to do that in the example. PV is the principal. I is the interest rate as a decimal. K is the number of compounding periods in a year. So if it's compounding yearly, how many times does a year happen in 1 year? Once. If it was compounding monthly, what would K be? 12. If you were told that it was compounding quarterly? 4. Good. If it said compounding half yearly, what would K be? 2. Okay? You'll have practice on that end. But I've got examples there. And then lastly, N is the number of years. Can I give you some time? Can you get that formula down and the explanations for what each of the variables mean? If you're working now and you've got bank accounts, please look into it and see if you're earning interest on that. I don't know if they do that Commonwealth like banking stuff for kids in primary school, where you set up an account anymore. I'm telling you, you look into it, okay? Because okay, that last board we said you earn 75 cents. Whoop-de-doo. But would you rather that or earn 0? Okay? Okay, let's do an example. Find the interest earned on a $100 investment at 5% compounding yearly for 3 years. This formula doesn't tell you how much interest you earn. It tells you how much it grows to. How do I find the interest? Work out how much it grew to, take away what you put in the first place. That'll tell you how much interest. So, FV. Find the interest earned on a $100 investment. So what would my principal be? 100 times by 1, always 1, plus. Interest is 5%, so what would I be? I is the interest rate as a decimal.
0.05.
Good, 0.05 over K. What is K? K is the number of compound periods in a year. This question says it's yearly, so 1. And then the power, we already know K was 1 again, times by, how many years was it for? 3. So please do BEDMAS here. Simplify what you can. So it's going to be 100. Don't deal with 100 straight away. What's 0.05 divided by 1? What's anything divided by 1? It's 0.05. Add 1 to that, so it's going to be 1.05. And what is 1 times by 3? 3. So if you tried to just chuck this into your calculator, you're probably going to get the answer because your calculator doesn't know BEDMAS properly. So simplify what you can, and the calculator is probably going to be able to handle this better. Okay? Now, according to BEDMAS, what does B stand for? Brackets. Did we just deal with the brackets as best we could? What does the E stand for? Is there an exponent there? So do that first. So you're going to know 1.05 to the power of 3 is a long number, 1.157625. And then I'm going to times it by 100. So that comes to $115.76 rounded to 2 decimal points. Is that the answer to the question, or am I almost there? Almost there. That's telling me that my $100 investment grows to $115.76. How much interest was earned? What's the little bit on top?
You gotta take 100.
Take 100 from that, so 115.76 minus 100 is going to be $15.76 interest. Is that the same number that we got on the board that I turned around just before? But that took longer, it was 3, whereas I just used one formula here. Can you get that example down? Then we'll do a slightly more complicated example. So this is a possible scenario you could have with a bank account that earns interest. What's unrealistic about it? Kids of your age probably aren't going to have $8,800 just to chuck into a bank unless you run into some inheritance. And also interest rates are a little lower than that. But the maths and the way this works is the same as what you could get from a bank account. So AFV equals $8,800 is placed in an account at 4.8% per annum compounding monthly. So what's PV going to be? What's the principal? $8,800 times by 1 plus I. I is the interest rate as a decimal. What's 4.8% as a decimal? No, that's what it is. 0.048. Well done. 0.048 over. Now think. Because it's compounding monthly, so it's going to be over 12, well done, and then times by k to the power of kn, so it's going to be 12 times by 3. All right? Do some working out. 8,800 bracket 0.048 divided by 12. 0.048 divided by 12. 0.004. So the brackets is going to simplify to 1.004, and 12 times by 3, 36. Do BEDMAS properly, so 1.004 to the power of 36 is a long number, times it by 8,800, 10,160.06. 2 decimal points. So that's A, find the contents of the account after 3 years. B, find the interest earned. How would I find the interest earned? It grew to a large amount. I put in a certain amount. How do I find the little icing on top of my investment? Minus. Yeah. So 10,160.06 minus 8,800 equals 1360.06. So assuming you just left that money in there for the whole 3 years, you'd be getting $1360.06 just for nothing, okay? As young people, even at my age, I'm not going to be able to do that because I'm paying to live. But can you imagine older people that are already retired? They're sitting on giant truckloads of money. They can just leave it in the bank and then just earn a living off of interest, okay? We're not in that situation yet, but that'll be a lot. Okay? All right, I'll stop the video.